basically, this is a fascinating Gemara and definitely not one of the easiest ones in Shas. But basically, the point is like this. So we thought that we had a proof from the fact that the Chatzah Katana that was Nifritza into the Gedola, since it's mutter to carry in the big one, but not mutter to carry in the smaller one, proves that if it's near bachutz but shava b'fnim, that it's not good. That you wouldn't be allowed to use that as a lachi because of the fact that why can't you carry in the chatzar katana? Okay, so in order to answer that, we came up with a sort of a whole, I wouldn't call it convoluted, but a whole series of different, aspects that we had to sort of put together in order to make this brisa not contradict our position. And the way we did it was, first of all, by saying that the walls entered into the chutzner. That was step number one. Then we said, why not use lavud, okay, and do it, and say that Lamaisa will still be filled in, and if you want to say, well, you can't use love because of the scenario, well, but the scenario was such that it's one amma difference between one chutz and the other, right? That was what Rav Ada Bar Avimi learned in a brayso in front of Rabbi Chaina. Okay, that the katana was 10 and the big one was 11. So so in order to explain, and that would allow lava to work. Well, the only answer then we had to say that it was 4 and 2. It wasn't 3 and 3. It was 4 and 2. And on the 4, lava doesn't work. But let it use one. Let's use one of the sides. And the answer is we hold like Rebbe that you need both sides. So basically, the only way to make this brisa conform with the position that Shab B'fnim V'nira B'chutz works as a lechi is to learn this brisa using all of those three angles. That A, the walls entered into the chutzner. B, that it was a 4 and 2 ratio or discrepancy between one wall and the other was 4 tefach on one side, 2 tefach on the other. Was not equidistant 3-3. And number 3, you have to hold like Rebbe that you need two posts for a lechi and a chutzner as opposed to one. So we're up to the top Rashi. Okay, on Daf Yudam and Aleph, Rebbe Hid Omar Be'inon Beis Shiurin L'Chotzer Shel Eser Hanafresas B'Milua. Okay, that you need 2 different strips or lechis. He calls it shiurin here. Not sure if we used that word before describing the lechis, but you need 2 of them. Okay, Rebbe Damar Binon Shnei Pasin. Okay, the Tanya Chotzin Teres with Pas Echad. Okay, maybe because by a chutzer it's wider. Maybe that's why he calls it shiurin here, because we're talking about a chutzer. The chutzer doesn't have the leeway of only having a very narrow strip. We know we said by a mavoi it's almost like a mashahu. But when it comes to a chutzer, it needs to be thicker, and that's maybe why the word shiurin is being used, sort of like a leftover entity of a wall that sort of has to stick out. So the next Rashi, Chotzini Teres Papas Echad im Nifrit Rishus Harabim. If it was breached into the Rishus Harabim, v'nishtayir Bapas Mitzad Echad, okay, and you have one part of a wall left over from one side, Muteres, B'Sheina Pirtzei Yosem Eser Askin. Obviously, the breach is not more than 10. The Yosem Eser Lo Mahanim Mechitz Lahai Chotzer. Obviously, it's not going to work. A wall will not work if the breach is more than 10. That's an opening that you can't fix up. You got to lessen the opening. Okay, but Rebbe holds you need 2. So right now, at this point, we looked at this brisa and we're sort of saying you don't have a proof from this brisa against that position. We said it was machlokas. Remember, Reb Chia and Rishon Rebbe was machlokas Tanoim or Leina Marayim, whatever. Rishon Rebbe definitely has a status of a Tana. Reb Chia is sort of a little bit more on the borderline. But and then we tried to disprove the one who says it's good from this brisa. And at this point, we have a position that can defend that. Pshat in the Bryce that can defend the position of that particular Mandi Yomar. Okay, but now the Gemara takes the offensive about this Pshat, because again, these 3 things have to all come together. And the Gemara says, come on, let's sort of be honest here and let's sort of really see if this makes sense. So 3 lines from the top. Haimai, or 2, actually, the last word on the second line. Haimai, what exactly is the deal here between... in understanding this brisa, what's the story? What's happening? If you adopt the conventional approach of learning this brisa, again, we have this chatzar katana that's opening up into a chatzar gedola, and if you and the straight halacha is you can carry in the chatzar gedola, and you cannot carry in the chatzar katana. Now, if you're going to tell me that the essential reason why you don't carry, why you cannot carry the chatzar katana is because nir b'chutz v'shav b'fnim, if it's apparent from the outside and it's equal on the inside, eidani de mishum lachi, it is not valid as a lachi. If you learn that's the definitive halachic position, that brisa is a smooth brisa, and it all makes sense. Why? So one more time. And this position of Rebbe that we want to attribute the brisa to happens to agree with Rabbi Yossi in terms of a position of Rabbi Yossi, which we're going to learn now, that a minimum shear is 3 tefachim for a lechi of a chatzar. And we're basically, in all due respect, taking Reb Zera and taking Ravina, those two very sort of forced positions. One is Reb Zera, meaning that the walls go into the chutzner, and that was one sort of a step we needed to take in order to make sense back on Amid Beis. And the other step we needed to take was it was 4 and 2. Remember, Ravina said it was 4 tefach on one side and 2 tefach on the other side. And if you basically take those two opinions and throw them out the window and say, come on, we're not going there, we're not entertaining that, that's not tenable. Okay, so if we take those two positions out, throw them out the window, adapt Rebbe and Rabbi Yossi together, two very legit Tanoic positions, okay, that's why the Brisa said it's a very good logic, is what the Brisa was saying. That, by the way, I want you to know that the configuration of these two chatzeros was that the bigger one was 11, and the smaller one was 10. Why did you go there? Why the Brisa? It's very logical why we went there. If you learn this way, okay, as to why the Brisa specifically described the scenario as a 11 amma chutzner surrounding a 10 amma chutzner. Okay, because you need two. You need a half an amma on each side. If I'm 1 amma bigger than you, and if you divide logically that amma on both sides, I'm 3 tvachim bigger than you on one side, I'm 3 tvachim bigger than you on the other side. Okay, and why do you need those 3 tvachim? In order to establish the lechi wide enough to legitimize the inside people. Right, because again, let's not forget, we said you cannot carry in the small chutzner, you can't carry in the big chutzner. Why can you carry in the big chutzner? Because those two indentations serve as your lechi to close off the chutzner, and that lechi must be at least 3 tefachim, okay, on either side. So it's very good. Why he didn't come up with a weird case of 11-10 out of the clear blue. It was a very specific reason why he was saying it, because this price reflected Rabbi Yossi's position that you need at least 3 tefachim to establish your lechi. Ella, so that's why. Okay, okay, we'll do the Rashis in a minute. Okay, so that's it. It's beautiful. It makes a lot of sense why somebody came along and said you have 11 and 10. 11 amma on the big one, 10 ammas on the small one, because it was a minimum shear. It wasn't a maximum. It was a minimum shear. You need at least that to get the outside, the bigger chutzner legitimized by the lechis of the bigger chutzner. You need those lechis to allow you to carry. However,
I'm sorry, we're trying to carry in the small chutzner?
No, we're trying to carry in the big chutzner now. The only way to carry in the big chutzner, if the big chutzner had those two extensions, which was serving as its closure, okay, it's lechis, so to speak.
That's seen on the inside.
Right, that's seen on the inside to be at least 3. Because according to Rabbi Yossi, right, Rashi is going to explain to us about Rabbi Yossi's position that a lechi of a chutzner needs to be at least 3 tefachim. So it's very good why he said that, because he wasn't worried about the people. The people on the inside, on the small chutzner, cannot carry. Period. You're done. You don't have any lechi at all because we hold nira v'chutz v'shabefnim does not work. But what about the people on the inside? How could they carry? Terraces they can carry because they have at least 3 tefachim as your lechi. But if you're going to come and argue that if it appears from the inside and it's smooth, from the outside, but it's smooth from the inside, and if you're going to take the other position like we took yesterday back at Ahmed Bays, that it does work, that there are people in the inside one could carry even though it's not visible to them, right? He says, and you want to go back to those two very, very interesting pshatim that the case is the walls went into the chutzner, right? That's why you couldn't carry because the walls went into the other chutzner. Okay, and you adopted Ravina to say it was a 4 and 2 situation, right? When we spoke about 11-10, it wasn't 11-10 equidistant from both sides. It was 11-10, 4 tefachim on one side, 2 tefachim on the other side. And you're going to obviously say Rabbi Lo Savalo Rabbi Yossi, because in this version of 4 and 2, right, Rabbi Yossi can't be held. Rabbi cannot agree with Rabbi Yossi because if you have 4 and 2, the 2 doesn't work. Right? It's not big enough. So even the people on the inside, in the big chutzner wouldn't be allowed to carry because you don't have the 2 lech. And let's not forget, Rebbe holds you need both, right? Rebbe holds you need 2 lechis. So if you want to adopt a Rebbe and you have to learn Rebbe does not agree with Rebbe Yossi, I still don't like right? All those things have to happen, and let's put all those things together to explain why you cannot carry in the little chutzner, but you can carry in the big chutzner. Okay, he says Gedol. Still, I don't like what you're saying. Why? Because Gedol b'yachas esrei lamali. Why did you come along? You Brisa that was quoted by Reb Ada Bar Avimi with 4 lines from the bottom on Amid Beis. Why did you come along and tell me that the case is 11-10? Who needs the 11-10? Gedol b'yachas esrei lamali. Why do I need a big chutzner to be 11 amas wide? Yimanav. Either way you turn, you can learn shot without that 11 amas situation. Because if you're coming to tell me it was 11 amas in order to matter the big chutzner, why you're allowed to carry in the big chutzner, because if that's why you came up with the 11 amma concept, hello, we're not holding like Rabbi Yossi. So if you don't hold like Rabbi Yossi, 3 tefachim is not a shear, so then the eser ushnei tefachim sagi. All you would need is 10 amas and 2 tefachim. And we'll see about this 2 tefachim, why it could be 10 amas and 2 mashus, l'chayr, right? Why do you need even 2? But you can say 2 tefachim just l'rav chedemil. So just you need something, right? But the point is, if you don't adopt Rabbi Yossi's position, and a lechi is a mashu, so all you need is 10 plus. Okay, so you call it a tefach, and we'll see maybe there's actually a dafka tefach, but whatever it is, you definitely don't need 11. The 11 is not coming to explain why the people of the inside of the big chutzner can carry, because they certainly can carry in less than 11. Vila misra l'ketana kasi, and if it's coming to answer the people of the inside by saying that in order to avoid the loved situation. Right. Well, in order to avoid the right, and you want to tell me why it's usher, because we had a kasha. If you're learning those walls are protruding in, use lavud, and you needed the 11 to get out of the lavud situation. Vila misha l'katanakasi. If you're coming to explain why the Brisa says you cannot carry in the inside of the small chutzner, right? Because after all, we're in the world now that nira b'chutz v'shaviftim works. So if Ner B'chutz Shavavtim works, why can't you carry in the little chutz? The teretz is because of Reb Zera's whole situation that the walls are going in, and you need that in order to avoid lavud. Well, Lashmiran Demilfigatuma. Pick 12, 13, 14, 15. What do you have to dafka pick 11? You could have just picked any number a lot wider to avoid the loved situation. Because hey, you're coming with 4 and 2. It's a whole, because 3 and 3 taka would have worked, right? By picking 11, your 11 forces a 4 and 2 scenario. By picking 12, you would have been beautiful. Just say it's 12 amas, or it's it's a much bigger chutzner, and the whole 11 thing doesn't seem to really make sense. It doesn't make sense for the people of the big chutzner. It doesn't make sense for the people of the little chutzner. Elalav shma'amina. Therefore, I have no choice but to conclude that this scenario is not plausible. Nir b'chutz v'shavavtim ein anidim mishum lechi. Shma'amina. So we have an absolute solid derivation that I can ascertain from this brisa of the two chutzers that the and you add the 1110 factor. Right? You need the 1110 factor in there to prove it unequivocally. Once you add that 1110 factor, that does not make sense that brisa should have made 1110 without the position of nidun eno nidun mishum lachi, that nira b'fnim nira b'chutz v'shav b'fnim does not work, and the whole reason why we picked 1110 was to explain minimally why the people of the big chutzah can carry. Now it's very good why it's 1110. It must be at least 11. That's the pshat. It needs to be at least 11 to establish Rabbi Yossi's position, and Rabbi Yossi are aligned. Okay, Baruch Hashem. So that takes care of that. Now let's do the Rashis. Chotzi Niteres. We did that. Haimai. All right, second line of Rashi. Haimai. What's happening here exactly? If you learn the brisa like we established earlier, that the breach was a nice, smooth, open breach. None of this Reb Zera stuff. It was a straight open breach without any extensions of walls. And the extension, the extension of the bigger chutzah over the small chutzah was 3 tefachim on one side, 3 tefachim on the other side. And you could say that when it appears to the people on the inside and it's smooth to the people on the outside from both sides. Okay, and despite the fact that yes, it does appear to the people on the outside, and while it does not appear to the people on the inside because it's a smooth, straight right turn, the wall does not protrude into the chutzah at all. Yet it's despite the fact you have two sides that are nearer b'chutz, it's a lasser. The nearer b'chutz v'shavim lo mahani, because we don't buy into the concept that if it's got to be apparent to the people on the inside. Those are the people that are really need the reminder, and if they don't have the reminder, I'm sorry, it doesn't work. Rabbi b'shnei pasan l'chotzer Rabbi Yossi savala, and Rabbi when it comes to the two extensions of the chotzer agrees with Rabbi Yossi. And he also adopts Rabbi's position that it's 3 tefachim. The kosh game passed in the chotzer, and for sure, if a typical lechi requires 3 tefachim, for sure the lechi of the chotzer requires 3 tefachim. The boy rochav can buy Rabbi Yossi b'lechi. Okay, so if he holds that way for a regular mavi, he certainly holds that way for a chotzer. Why? The kolshkein pass in the chotzer, the boy rochav, because you need real width. Because we are going to hold by a chotzer like Rabbi Yossi by regular mavi. Right? We're more machmir in the width of a lechi by a chotzer than we are. That's one of the final Jeopardy questions when Mashiach takes over the game. Is that prove to me that a lechi? What's the difference between the lechi of a chotzer versus the lechi of a mavi? The answer is the lechi of a chotzer needs to be wider and thicker than the lechi of a mavi. Okay, so then it's all good. So I understand if you learn this way that it doesn't work for the inside, for the Chotzer Katana. It does work for the Chotzer Gedola, and it only works for the Chotzer Gedola because I've got those two side poles, each one of 3. The 1110 calculation works out beautifully. And I'm now going to reject this whole concept of this 4 and 2 calculation. I'm not going to buy into because otherwise, I'll have a Mishtari Gedola. Okay, because then the inside one would never have been mutter, the pas based tefachim mahani, because a lechi of 2 tefachim is not going to work. So you have to basically now dislodge Rebbe from Rabbi Yossi if you're going to adopt Ravina. So I don't want to go with Ravina. The given the lesser of the Ravina, less than I'm the Reb Zera. Once I reject Ravina, I'm also going to reject Reb Zera. Dukman bin who learned pshat that they entered into the chutzner, right? Those goalposts that went into the next chutzner. The kiv the muchuvenes, shosh mikan, because since they're exactly lined up, 3 and 3, Knisa my Mahanya. What does it help? It doesn't make a difference. Right? Even without it, you're allowed to carry. You're allowed to carry on the inside. Okay, when it's nira bachut v'shavafnim mi beis ruchos. Second. Let's v'lo sharina law the mukmina la b'nira b'chut v'shavafnim ain't only the mishum lachi. Okay, we're not going to matter the people on the inside to carry, okay, because we're in this world, right? The world that we're adapting is that if it's near b'chutz v'shavafnim, it's not a valid lechi, and if it's not a valid lechi, mishamachi Yosef Tana Shir La'odfa Shel Gedola. The reason why we picked this case of 11 and 10 is in order to have enough of a shear, enough of a size of the big chutzner over the small chutzner. The reason why we needed to be one a full amma bigger, a full amma being 6 tefachim, 3 tefachim on either side. In order for there to be in that big chutzner a wall of 3 on one side and a wall of 3 on the other side. Because we know Rebbe holds you need 2 sides. And the reason why you need a width of 3 is like Rabbi Yossi. We should the entire thrust of this 11-10 concept is only in order to matir the people of the big chutzner. Nothing to do with the people of the little chutzner. The people of the little chutzner, they can't carry regardless. They're out of it because they don't have anything. They don't have that. They don't even have one lechi, let alone 2. So that's why it would make sense to learn this brisa that the people of the little chutzner cannot carry because nira b'chutz v'shabifnim does not work. However, Eli Amrit, next Rashi, Eli Amrit nira b'chutz mahani. But yes, it does work. If you want to adopt the position that it does work, like we did yesterday on Amid Beis, ukatana das sirahanit. And the only reason why you cannot carry the little one is because because we're agreeing with Reb Zera, we're adopting his understanding that the walls enter into the big chutzner. And we also have to adopt Ravina that there is a disparate distance between the 2 walls. It's a 4 and 2 situation as opposed to 3 and 3. You don't have lavud from 2 sides, but nevertheless, despite all that, you can carry the big one. With the remainder, right? Because even though it enters in and there are goalposts there, but you still have those side walls to matter the people of the inside one, that remain from behind the goalposts. You still have that back wall in that chutzner that can serve as its lechi. Okay, and even though it's a 4 and 2 wall, right? The way we learned it yesterday is that one wall is 4 tefachim and one wall is 2 tefachim. And even though it's only 2 tefachim, I'm still going to say it's okay because I don't adopt Rabbi Yossi because Rabbi Yossi needs 3 and obviously 2 is not 3. Okay, elabei tefachim do solo Rabbi Yossi because I reject Rabbi Yossi. I still, right? So I got to get all those things together. I still don't like your pshat because Gedol B'Yud Aleph, next Rashi, smack in the middle of the page. Gedol B'Yav the Yoav Tana Shul Le'odfa Amma Lamli. Why did the Tana go out of its way to talk about an 11-10 Amma configuration? If we want to have enough to allow the big chutzner to carry, okay. If I'm not adopting Rabbi Yossi, I don't need 11 amas. All I need is 10 plus. Beser sheit v'achim sagi. The Rabbi Yossi, look Rabbi Yossi. Once Rabbi does not hold like Rabbi Yossi, after 3 tefachim, the next year is bubkis. All you need is the smallest pole is good enough. So I don't need 11 amas. I just need 10 plus a couple of tefachim. Vila misrei ketana kasi. And if it's coming, the reason why you picked 11-10 is to prohibit the people of the small chutzah to carry. That's what the whole thrust of this 11-10 business is. It still doesn't make any sense. He says, because I need a 4 tefach disparity in order to avoid lavud. Right? Because I have to find a way not to use lavid that would allow you to complete the wall and make it legit for the people on the inside to carry of the small chutzner. Right? Because if I didn't find that 4-2 configuration, my kasha would have been use lavid, connect the walls, and you got yourself a near a bachutz situation. Why wouldn't you allow to be carried with near a bachutz? So if that's your whole thrust to come up with a 4 and 2, you have to pick 11 for that. What kind of business picking 11 amas? Lashmin and gedola ruchava harbe. Pick a case where the gedola is much wider. With a tuva and it's more distant. That have a milsa de psika. That would have been a much smoother, clearer situation. The lav milsa de psika, right? Because this is not clear cut. When you talk about 11 and 10, even there it's not for sure going to work. Because if 11 10 was divided 3 and 3, it would have worked. You got to pick 11 10 and come up with a 4 and 2 configuration. I mean, give me a break. Right? If you want to talk about a case where we separated this one 3 and that one 3, it could have worked. Okay, if the big one was much bigger than the small one, have a ton right? If that's what it would have said, having a fei, okay, I would be able to learn out more and easier. It's goofa because of the distance between the two chutzers, the thickness of the wall that prevents lava, that prevents the small chutz from carrying. It's very. Don't try to tell me. Well, no, I'm picking the minimum. In other words, because if it's less than an amma, then for sure you'd be allowed to carry. Is that true? Can you find a case where, let's say, it's 10 amas and 5 tefachim disparity, and you still can't carry? You bet I could. Right. All you got to do is pick 4 and 1 now, right? Or 3.5 and 1. You can go even as low as 4.5 tefachim, and still come up with a scenario where you won't be able to carry, as long as you get out of love it on one side. Right? So if you're trying to tell me that I picked 11-10 as a minimum base of distance, it's not true. He says, VE, one more time. Second wide line on the page. That it's only this minimum amount, but less than that it would not be true, and you would be allowed to carry. He says, you can even come up with a case where it's 10 amas and 4 tefachim, and it's still not, you're not allowed to carry in the small chutzner. Or go into muflages, b'chati tefach mikan. All you got to do is find a case where it's a half a tefach away from one wall, and it's 3.5 tefachim away from the other wall. The mishri gedola begif of mashu, where the people on the big chutzner can carry with the smallest amount of alechi. Like we know, we're not following Rabbi Yossi now. Begif of mashu mikan, u'shoshev v'chatz mikan. Okay, and the 3.5 on one side would certainly be enough, together with the other little schmitzik on the other side for the big chutzner. U'katana mitzrei, and the katana would be also the leka lavut mishay ruchos, because you don't have lavut from both sides. So this 11-10 really doesn't work, but for the other approach, the one we had today. Yesterday's approach really doesn't explain solidly 11-10, because you could have picked even 10 and 2/3 of an amma could also have worked. 10 even, 10 right, 10 and whatever, even less than 2/3 slightly. So since I picked 10 and 11, it's much more plausible in the other direction that the inside people b'chal can't carry. We're not talking about any goalpost situation, and it's coming for the 11. The other amma is a minimum shear of getting 3 tefachim on each side to fulfill Rabbi Yossi's mandate of a 3 tefach wall, a 3 tefach lechi. Elav shmamina. We have no choice but to derive al korchach dafke shlosh mikan that the reason why we picked it is to tell me 3 and 3 on each side. Lemishra gedola nokala is only coming to allow the people in the big chutzner to carry. Afil chitana surah. And even though you are able to carry in the big chutzner, you cannot carry in the little chutzner. Because if it only appears to the people on the outside, it does not appear to people on the inside, does not work. Shmamina. Okay, it's absolute proof, and doesn't say tiyufta, but it says shmamina.
That is one lechi.
What?
If we're only dealing with the people in the big chutzner.
No, but we hold like Rabbi Yossi. We hold like Rabbi Yossi. I'm sorry. We hold like Rebbe. Sorry, we hold like Rebbe, who needs two. For a chutz, you need both sides. So we are merging opinions, but we're merging two very legit opinions that exist amongst the Tanoim. Namely, that Rebbe holds you need two sides, and Rabbi Yossi holds you need each side to be at least 3 tefachim in a chutzner. Okay, actually, I think anywhere he holds. I think even by a lechi too, by a mavi as well. But once you hold those two positions, then this price makes perfect sense.
So if it's 11, you're saying each side has to be 3.
Right, exactly. That's why that number 11 makes perfect sense. It's a minimum shear of what you needed to allow that the people of the big chutzah to carry. Absolutely.
When it's equal.
What?
Well, no, 6.
Well, 3 and 3. Right. And it makes sense. I mean, if typically you're told it's a 10 amma chutzner and an 11 amma chutzner, you're logically going 3-3, and then and it all works out very smoothly. The whole 4 and 2 thing really didn't sit that well. B'chal. Okay, we're up to the dot. Okay, so Amr of Yosef lo shmi lo hashmaitza. Yosef says, I really never heard this whole issue. Right, because Rav Yeshua Brei Rav Huna was the one who got it started. Right, Amalei. He's the one who quoted. He quoted Rav Huna. Yeah, that it works. And Rav Yosef is now saying, I never heard this. This not the Rabbi Bar Rav Huna, but Rabbi Rav Huna who said this halacha. Named Rav Huna, Yosef, who learned by Rav Huna, was a Talmud Muvak of Rav Huna, doesn't remember it. Okay, so Abai is trying to remember. Rav Yosef lost his memory. Remember, he got blind. So Amalei Abai says to Rav Yosef, no, you did say this halacha. Amalei Abai at Amrit Nehelan, you did say this in front of us. Vaho Amrit Nehelan, and you said it in this reference, that halacha. You said it in this context. Okay, what was the context? Amar Rami Bar Abba Amar Rav Huna. You quoted Rami Bar Abba, who said the name Rav Huna, Lechi Hamoshech Imdofno Shalmavi, a lechi that protrudes and continues along the wall of the mavi, Pachas B'Dal Amis. If that mavi is less than 4 amis, Nida Mishum Lechi. Right, which is exactly what we're saying, right? It protrudes to the inside people of the mavi. They're looking at it flush up. They can't even see that it's sticking out. It's not sticking out. It's shava b'fnim. It's just near b'chutz. So as long as it's less than 4 amas, it's a valid lechi. Mishtamish im chudai hapinimi. Okay, and you can carry up until the inner. Right. Remember we said that you can't carry beyond according to certain opinions. So you see, he agrees with that. You only can mishtamish im chudai. He probably changes that to ad chudai. But let's see, where's that aleph? He changes to ad, right? So ad chudai apnimi, you can carry up until the inner, the part that protrudes. Dalar amis. 1 second. However, if it's dalar amis, if that lechi that continues, that is visible to the people on the outside, but not visible to the people on the inside, if it's dalar amis, it now gets viewed as a mavui, and that is not allowed to be used at all, and you cannot carry in the rest of the mavui. Okay, Viat Amr Lon Allah, and you taught us. The Sabai is reminding of Yosef of the shir that he gave. You quoted this halacha, and you told us about this halacha, Shema Minat Tlas, that you from this little statement you can derive 3 distinct halachas from these statements. And what are they? We see halacha number 1 that once you're in between the lechis, you cannot carry. Once you're hitting into the lechi area, it doesn't work. It only works up until the lechi, not inclusive of the lechi. Remember, we had a machlokes how big is the minimum shir mavi? Clearly, he holds 4 amos, not 4 tfachim, which was the other opinion. And the third thing is Shema Mino, near B'chutz Shabifnim, Nida Mishum Lachi. And you also are able to derive for us that if it appears to the people on the outside, but smooth to the people on the inside, then indeed it does work. So even though we just finished saying Shema Mino, we just have this little episode from Rav Yosef and Abayit seeming to say they hold it does work. Vilchasa, if you want the bottom line, as Michael always is asking for, Vilchasa near b'chutz v'shem v'fnim nida mishum lachi. I believe it or not, yes, the halacha is it does work, and the Gemara is really shocked. Really, Tshufta Vilchasa. You refuted from this very beautiful kasha, this whole complicated kasha we just asked on the top of the Amud, and now you're telling that we follow that? And the answer is in. Yes, we do. Mishum detani Reb Chia kavasei. Because since Reb Chia did learn a brisa, remember that told us that it does work. Remember that's how we proved how Reb Chia held. Since Reb Chia's brisa seems to support the halacha that near b'chutz v'shavim is a valid lechi, that indeed is a halacha, that's a valid lechi, and the two dots officially end the sugya. Okay.
What he says is that the people on the outside,
it's good enough.
Is really for the people on the outside more than it is for.
Well, you don't know that. I mean, it's good enough. Let's say it this way: it's good enough if only for the people, because if it's visible to people on the inside and not to the outside, that for sure works. That's not debatable. Everyone agrees that if it's apparent to the inside people but not apparent to the outside people, that for sure is a good lechi. That we have no question. The only question was when it's not visible to the inside and only visible to the outside. So that's a machlokes. So you can't say that we care more about the outside people, but we care enough about them that that's enough to validate the lechi. What?
So that says that what you really are saying.
Well, no, that's we always held.
As
that
long
the,
as one side,
no, that part. No,
yeah.
I'm just saying, but just the end.
Yeah,
as long as one
keeps
side,
keeps on your toes. Yeah.
As long as one side can see it, the lechi, then it's good.
Correct.
Whether it's the inside or the outside,
Right.
there's also
Right.
one side.
Had we stopped 2 lines ago, anybody would have bet the bottom dollar that it would not be good.
Right.
But now we came up with this last Gemara, and we that price of Reb Chia, and we say actually it is good. So let's see here. Yeah, we got a couple minutes. He says lo shmila li hashmai tzid Rabbi Rav Huna. Rav Yosef is saying I never heard this. I can't remember that shir from Rabbi Rav Huna. Rav Huna avua. Again, lo shmili hashmai tzid Rabbi Rav Huna. Rav Huna. I never heard it from Rav Huna. That statement that Rabbi Rav Huna made about his father, I never heard from Rav Huna. Avua, his father, the near nidon mishum that when it appears just to the outside that it's good. I didn't hear that shir. So Abai says, yes, you did, because you yourself taught us lechem oshechem dof nesham avui lechutz, a lechi that continues with the wall visible to the people of the outside. Shiner kamayr chazdaifin, that appears that the wall continues. Hamavui shemayim midchudai keneged oivei hadofin, where you put the protrusion continues with contiguous with the wall. The michsei chudai b'oiv shadafin, where you covered the lechi, the thickness of the lechi, with the thickness of the wall, so as not to make it apparent to the people on the inside. Because now it's equal to the inside. The near b'chutz, but it's apparent to the outside. Because it's not as wide as the wall. If it was as wide as the wall, then it would just look like a full wall, extension of the wall. But it's narrower than the wall, so it's halfway the thickness of the wall. So people on the outside looking in, there's a lechi there, because you see that's not as wide as the wall. But the people on the inside, they can't tell. So b'kulai b'chol mavi shara ein kan lechi. You can't carry, once it's 4 amos, you can't carry the entire mavi. So we derive shma mina mashach mavi arba. We can derive that the distance of a mavi is 4 amos. We come nidim mishum mavi. Since he says once it's 4 amos, it's viewed as a mavi. Tells me that 4 amos is the shir of a mavi, not 4 tfachim, but 4 amos. It also tells me bein lechayim aser midukama ad chude apinimi. It also says you cannot carry once you hit the lechi. Right? Since you can only carry up until the protrusion That's halacha number 2. Ushma mina, but not within the protrusion. And shma mina near b'chutz shaviftim nidim mishum lechi midikam nidim mishum lechi. Since it says it works, so you see that I care enough about the outside people to validate it. Really? Tiyuf tevilchuso? The ozvino mechotze katana shufar zaglo. We had this brisa that seemed to be a refutation, and now it's coming back and tell me the lach is like him. He says yes. I am. The Tani Reb Chia Kava say, Kaisel Shitzila Achas Konus. That brisa that we quoted yesterday from Reb Chia talks about the wall that comes in, the wall that comes out. That brisa is a Reb Chia brisa. It's an authoritative brisa, and since Reb Chia learns our way, that's halacha, and we'll pick this up as a Shem on Sunday at about 8:00.